And in my opinion, the only way to either lessen the gap or just completely shrink the gap down to nothing, where you do have this amazing life that you want, the only way to do that is to get really serious about goal setting. And it's one of those trite words that we hear a lot. I mean, I grew up in corporate America. I spent almost 8 years in pharmaceutical sales, and I remember we would always have this little section at the end of one of our events. By the way, they were not anything like this. They were not fun like my sales events, but we'd always talk about goal setting. But it didn't really dawn on me until I became a part of this culture and this family that I could really create my life. I don't have to just live my life or just let my life, just kind of one day it comes and the next day goes, and the next day comes and the next day goes. Where I can have a vision of exactly, this is crazy, exactly what it is that I want, and I can design my life exactly the way that I want to design it, and I can go out there and have the life of my wildest dreams. I know that you guys are in here for a reason, but I just need to hear from you to check in and make sure. Are you guys in this room ready to live the life of your wildest dreams? Raise your hand. I love it. So Tony and I are going to talk today about creating your best year ever. Now, I know we're already a couple months in. There's a lot of, for you guys who don't know this, we did this training at a higher level with a lot of the national directors and above. So for those of you who are not yet national director, this is a glimpse. This is a glimpse into, what it will be like when you're at that Indie Experience event and you earn your way into that room. We're going to give you guys some of those things that the highest earning people in our company get at those private events that you have to be invited to. So I'm really excited that you guys chose to be here with us today. We take your decision seriously, and we're going to give you everything we've got. But in turn, you guys have to give us everything you've got. Because see, you walked in the door to a goal setting session. Right? You didn't walk into a room to hear Ashley and Tony listen to themselves talk again, We hear ourselves talk all the time. We're not interested in that anymore. What we want to do is we want you to leave here with a better plan of how you're going to go out of this room and, start right now today and this weekend with these amazing people who love and care about you and create the life that you've always desired. So one of the things that Nick and I do, and Tony and Rhonda have a different process, and there's no perfect way. But we're just going to give you guys what we do, right? We're not talking down to you today because there really is a million different ways that you can go through this process. But I believe that it helps if you have a guideline. So what Nick and I do is every January 1, literally we'll go out and have a blast the night before, maybe drink a little too much Goze and Pro Rita, but by God, we are waking up on January 1st. And we set that day aside, and it's an exciting day for us. We buy a new journal. If you don't have a journal here this weekend, that's all right. Just start with a pen and paper today, but you need a blank piece of paper and a pen. So if you don't have it, borrow one from one of your neighbors. Grab something, because you're going to need it for this, okay? We grab a brand new journal, and we sit down, and this process is a very long process. But guys, is it worth it if it takes time to plan out your year? Do you think it might be worth, devoting one day, one 24-hour period to planning out the rest of your year? How many of you guys think that's important? Yes. So, and Tony can talk a little bit about, he and Rhonda's process and what they do as well. But we literally sit down and we take the entire day. Now, we're not like breathing, over each other. Like, what did you write? I'm going to write that. What did she write? Oh, I'm going to write that one. We don't do that. We just let it flow. We just let it flow. We get in this, cool state. We're listening to music. We just have fun with it. And we don't judge ourselves through this process. And then we huddle up, at the end of that day, and we talk about what each other wrote down.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Rhonda and I do the same thing. We do it twice a year. We do it at the beginning of the year. And she's in a separate room. I'm in a separate room because I don't want to sway her life in any direction. Right? So, and it's crazy, you guys. What we're going to share with you, and it's interesting because I've always heard my whole adult life that you got to have goals, you got to have written down goals, you got to look at your goals, and I'm going to be honest with you. True story. I say, yeah, I got my goals in here, And I would never do like the next step, which is actually take them from here and put them on a piece of paper and, visualize them and, watch things come to fruition by thinking about them, taking steps towards them. And you guys, 4.5 years ago, 4.5 years ago, Ron and I made a decision that we're going to put into practice these very simple things and make it part of who we are. Goal setting, I love to do now because everything I've ever put on a goal board, you guys, this is crazy. And I can share stories about even how I got the car that I drive. But everything I put on a goal board or my vision board, whatever you want to call it, on a piece of paper, every single thing has come true. Crazy. You have more power over the direction of your life than you absolutely positively know. And the silly thing is you're going to see how simple this is. It's simple to do, but what? It's also simple what? Not to do. And we want to encourage you to give this a shot. Give it a try, yeah?
Absolutely. So goals is that first piece. But it's not just about writing it down today and going, oh, okay, I got it. My life's just going to all of a sudden create itself. Just because I sat and watched this training. No. Goals plus habits plus values equals your life. There's two other critical components. Goals, habits, and values. And we're going to help you guys work through those, what they are for you. And just because your girlfriend or your boyfriend or even your significant other or your best friend or your upline is sitting next to you, your two pieces of paper could look completely different. But I want to be a little bit direct here because I believe that if you're direct, even if I offend someone, if it changes your life, then so be it. If you are looking at an empty piece of paper through this process today, I'm just going to tell you guys, God didn't make any crap. And if you walk through this door, I applaud you because today is not about being a part of the cool crowd. Today is not about, well, this stuff is crazy and they're just trying to get me excited. Yeah, we are. We're trying to get you to live the best life possible. But you can't sit around and wait for somebody else to do that for you. You've got to do that for yourself. So don't look at an empty piece of paper today when we're going through this process. Don't judge yourself. Don't make up excuses. Don't think about, well, if so-and-so could see me, this would be embarrassing. Or what if my boys could watch me write this stuff down? It's not about comparing yourself to someone else. It's about what they have and what you don't. This is all about you devoting this time to you today. And how many of you guys know it's very important if you love yourself? How many of you guys love yourself and you're willing to go through this process today and not judge?
And I like to say this. There's this word, this 3-letter word called ego. And I've heard different ways people describe ego, but here's what it is to me. If you've got an ego, you're edging your greatness out, is what you're doing. You're edging greatness out if you've got an ego, because you can't have an ego and do what we're about to do. Because your ego is going to stop you in your tracks and you're going to start, saying, what are my friends going to think? You guys know. Some people say edging God out, right? Edging your greatness out. No ego. Here we go.
All right, so we're going to go through a little bit of exactly what Tony and I, from a male and female perspective, again, yours could look completely different, but what we do through our process and exactly what we have written down on our current year goals. How many of you guys are interested in finding out from 2 multimillionaires what their current year goals are? Okay, we're going to walk through that today. We're opening up our heart to you guys to inspire you to do the same process. So the first part is about reflection. And we all, right, we look back at last year like, gosh, there's some things I surely could have done better, And, there's some, days that I wish I wouldn't have, taken off that I did, So there's always, a feeling in all of us that, gosh, I could have done more. But let's get specific, and we're going to play a little bit of music to get you guys in the mood. This is what Nick and I do. We play music. But I want you to start writing right now on what were your best moments of last year. What were your best moments of last year? I personally have to literally go January, what did I do? February, March. Just go through those months. You can turn it up a little bit. Thank you, Pete.
There's probably some things that stand out. I don't know if you had a birth of a child or a grandson, or maybe you had somebody on your team hit a position that you were pushing really hard for. something. What are those feel-good moments that you had last year that you can reflect upon that can take you now and propel you into 2014 and beyond? What are those good things? We don't want to look at this and go, oh, I was terrible at that and I didn't do that. This is not the time to, shun on yourself. This is the time to sit there and go, hey, this is what happened despite everything that was going on in my crazy life. These are the things that stand out, right? These are things I'm most proud of. These are the things that made me cry or made me happy or, something positive.
Did you hit a challenge goal last year? Write that down. What about a financial goal? A rank goal? What vacation did you take? What cool place on earth did you check off that was on your list last year? And guys, it doesn't have to be something big and crazy. What if it's like, I took my wife to this restaurant that she's been dying to go to for years and we had that amazing bottle of wine. It can be little things to celebrate about last year. Any, crazy fun concerts or birthday experience. Something that maybe you did with your family. Or it could be something a conversation that you had, or someone that you confronted, or a letter that you wrote that you really have been meaning to do for a while.
You just read my mind, because I was thinking, I always like to have conversations with my kids, and I always have these amazing conversations with my 11-year-old, and there's so many conversations that just bring a smile on my face when I think about how I watched him grow last year, right? The conversations I had with his teachers, and how his teachers, said, your son is this, and he's that. Those types of feel-good things, you guys. What are those things that moved you last year? What are those things that you were so excited to share with somebody else? Maybe it was your decision to join, Visalis, and this thing called, the Body by Vi Challenge at the time. And that first time you shared it, and that result that you got from that customer, that first time that customer came over to your house and said, oh my gosh, this works. And that feeling. You said, yeah, this is what I want to do, What did you declare last year? Did you draw a line in the sand last year and say, I'm not going to settle for mediocrity, or I'm not going to listen to negative people, or, I'm going to start reading books? Or what did you decide last year?
All right, thanks, Pete. Okay, so we have just a few minutes there. What I'm really excited about, and Tony is too, is what's going to happen next. Okay, but this is a cool thing, because in each year's journal, right there for Nick and I in our office, we have them lined up. Nick Ash, for the years that we've been together, and we can pull them out and we can open up the book and say, oh my God, I forgot about that happening in 2010 or that happening in 2011. And we can go right to the great things about that year. And what a cool thing to do, to have that, because sometimes you're going to forget about those things, and it's really nice to have those memories written down. It's sort of like a one-page miniature scrapbook. I love doing that part. And then rate yourself on the top 10 from last year. Like maybe just circle just 2 or 3 of those, favorite big ticket items that, just really stood out for you. Like for me, it was the birth of Gia. That was a huge standout thing for us last year.
That was mine too.
Yeah.
That was the standout for me.
Isn't that awesome?
When you guys had that baby,
Thank you,
that was awesome. Because I was like, wow, look at Nick go. That's great.
One of our favorites was watching little Tony when you guys got your promotion to Royal, and watching him dance and grab the mic and speak to the thousands of people. That was one of my favorite memories.
What were your top 10
Yeah.
last year? Hopefully you have 10, at least.
Exactly. So now this part, guys, is we're moving on into what we call goal storming. You guys have heard of brainstorming, right? We've all heard of that term. But this is, I guess, a Nickism, and I love those because he just has this way of making, one word make so much sense visually. But this is called a goal storm. So the secret to the goal storm is not giving a crap about what you write down on that piece of paper. It can be completely random. It can be the weirdest stuff, like where in my brain did that come from that I just wrote down on the piece of paper? Because see, if you can do this without judging yourself, sometimes your subconscious will kick in and it will lead you down this path of things that you don't even know that you want, but that you want, and that will make you extremely happy because you've never said it or you've never actually, thought about it, but things are going to pop out. So what a goal storm is about is just taking the next couple of minutes and writing down everything. Let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. That comes to your mind, and we're going to help jog your memory as we go, but about crazy stuff that you want in 2014.
And I'm going to remove one of your filters right now. You guys, you have enough money. Okay, so your bills are paid, life is good. Don't let money be the thing that holds you back from going out there and making these goals like crazy goals, places you want to go, things you want to experience. You guys, money is not an object. So hold on, I'm a genie. I just gave you guys all enough money in the bank to do what you need to do, so don't worry about that. I need you to go out there and dream. I need you to put goals, like right now. Start writing, you guys.
A little bit high energy. We need a little bit of a happy, high energy song.
Welcome, Ashley and Tony. They're happily being married today. Welcome.
Not so serious. So, guys, let's talk about this. What are you gonna do? What charities are you gonna give back to this year? That's a cool one. What are you passionate about? Ryan gives back every year, to charities that support autism. Nick and I are extremely passionate about young entrepreneurs and helping them, learn about entrepreneurialism before they're even taught it in school. Teaching young kids in underprivileged areas, to learn how to write a business plan and create a business plan, and to go out there and ask for funding and do all those things. We're passionate about that. What are you guys passionate about? Is it animal cruelty? Is it building houses, for people who can't afford it? Is it donating to your church?
One of the things that Ron and I got behind because of Project 10 Kids is we wanted to donate meals. And last year we donated 150,000 meals to this little city in Lincoln, Nebraska. You guys, 150,000 meals our team donated through all the hard work that we did. You guys, stuff like that. What type of vacation would be like your dream vacation this year, right? Money's no object. Set a date, set a time, set the place. Imagine yourself there doing that with your family or if you're with your spouse. What are those fun aha moments that you would like to have this year? Or did you move this year? Are you living where you want to live? Do you have the cars that you want to have?
What about the second home? If you had a second home or a third home, where would it be? Would it be on a lake? Would it be on the ocean? What would the view look like? What city would it be in?
It's crazy. I did this exercise 2 years ago. This one you guys are doing right now? 2 years ago, in my mind, I wrote down on a piece of paper exactly the type of house I wanted to buy in California, knowing that at some point, I'd be moving from Nebraska to California. You guys, April 18th, I'm closing on a house that's almost exactly verbatim what's on that piece of paper. In California, on top of the hill, infinity pool, circular driveway, fountain, all that. Because I went out and I decided that's what I wanted, yeah? Very specific.
What about financially? How much money do you want to make this year? I'm not embarrassed to talk about it. Why are people so embarrassed to talk about money? That's stupid. Right? Money can provide a lot of comforts to people in their life, a lot of, experiences for your kids, a lot of things that, you want. And so many times people are like, especially from the South where I'm from, it's rude to talk about money. You know what? You know what's rude is to not talk about money and to sit around in a family where it's embarrassing to talk about. Like, it's you know what? Your family and your friends and your cousins and everybody else, they're not going to be embarrassed when you're paying for everything, when you're taking them everywhere, okay? They're going to be happy that you were massively successful. So don't be bashful right now. How much money do you want to make? What about countries that you haven't seen? And it may be cities for you. Maybe you haven't traveled a lot in life and you just want to take a crazy, cool road trip. Where are you going to go? What states are you going to hit on that road trip?
Rhonda had a goal that she wanted to retire both sets of our parents, my mom and her family. And guess what we did 2 years ago? We actually retired them. They all retired and we send them money every month. They get a vacation every single year, you guys. There's no limit to what you can do with this. There's no limit, except the limits that you're going to put on yourself what your ego's thinking right now. That's not possible and that can't happen. This is silly doing this. Writing things down.
What's selfish stuff? Come on, now, guys and girls, you can both think of stuff. Like, is it a specific pair of shoes? a bag that you took a picture of, it's still in your phone, it's a goal of yours. Guys, it might be a watch. Motorcycle, golf clubs, a golf trip with your boys. I don't know. My dad is really into Scotch, so I don't even know anything about it. But I find people that are into it and know stuff about it, and I surprise them with crazy stuff like that. What are you into, right? What selfish thing do you want to do for yourself this year? Is it a specific salon that you want to go to get this crazy haircut? Is it one of the top 10 spas in the country, and you want to go and just spend a day there and unwind with your significant other? Anything like that.
I'd like to fly to Italy with like nothing in your suitcase and have people in Italy make clothes for you, Ashley Sarnicola.
That'd be crazy.
You did that happen? Did that happen to you?
In Hong Kong.
Hong Kong, it did happen to you on the honeymoon, right? That's kind of a cool thing.
You literally can take a magazine of a designer outfit that you want and just rip it out and tell them they'll go measure your sizes and they'll duplicate that outfit. I'm not saying
that is cool.
We're not trying to rip off other brands. I'm just saying there's people in Hong Kong that can make an outfit that looks exactly like it does on the magazine page for about 95% less than what those designers are selling it for. Crazy experiences like that. What do you guys want to do?
Guys, how many guys, I'll talk to the guys, this is a guy thing, how many guys would like to have enough money in the bank that you have your dream car and you walk in with that suitcase, right? Just walk in and go, that one right there. Oh, would you like paperwork? No, that one right there. And if I pay cash, do I get a discount? Perfect, I want that one right there. And sit down and flop the suitcase open. You guys, is that possible to do that? It is.
What about a boat?
Oh!
Or do you want a boat on the side of your really big boat? Right? I'm just going to share with you guys, because I see a lot of folks that are, they're just like, wow, I've never even thought I could write that down. Guys, your pages should be filling up right now of crazy stuff. Is there an author you want to meet? Is there a personal growth seminar that you want to attend with that guy that you want to see in person? You want to sit down with that person in a meeting? Which concerts do you want to go to? Do you guys have a favorite concert? You're like, by God, I'm going to stalk down that person. I'm going to that concert this year. I'm going to sit in the front row. I don't care what it is. A UFC fight, a football game. What about the national championship? Nick and I got to go last year to watch the Miami Heat, and it was amazing. We were in
and
the
they
streets.
took us.
Yes!
They took all of us, like all the 5 stars you guys ended up taking. It was crazy.
It was incredible. So what's your favorite team, right? I'm a huge SEC football fan. My team is Auburn, and we almost won the national championship this year. I took my butt, and I'm breastfeeding a little girl. And it was my first night away from her. I got her in an airplane, flew all the way to California just to watch this game. We did not win, but I came back home like, this is what life is about. Gia was without her mommy for one day, but I had the craziest life experience with all of my college friends. So you've got to create your life. Those little things like that.
I want you to understand, guys, we're not up here boasting and bragging about what we're able to do, and look at us, you guys. This is a skill that we had to develop and learn and apply a habit to follow through and things like that, which you're going to learn. But this is something you have to do. It's crazy. I've done this exercise before, Ashley, and if I would say something like, write down everything you don't want to have happen in your life, there'd be like 17 pages of stuff filled up right now. Because it's difficult to think of all the things that you do want versus all the things you don't want, right? So it's kind of like we're ingrained I don't want to have this. It's easier for us to do that. This is kind of a difficult thing for people that don't ever do this. It was difficult for me.
I'm just going to keep throwing stuff out, guys, and I really want y'all to write. I've got 4 or 5 pages written here, so I'm just going to throw out ideas. The Kentucky Derby. I've never seen Mount Rushmore. Can you believe that? A hot air balloon festival. I was leaving Albuquerque, working with that team last year at 6 a.m. on a flight. When the festival is starting, I'm like, by God, I'm going to be there next year. I'm not missing that. I'm not just going to be watching the balloons. I'm going to be in a balloon. And so there's this filter that starts to happen after you get used to goal setting. When, right now you're like, why? Could I actually have that? And then after a while, this filter sets in. It's like, why not? Why shouldn't I have that, right? Why not? Why not be in the balloon instead of just watching the balloon, festival go down? What about, those jet packs on the water? I think you've done one of those.
Yeah, I wanted to. They didn't have it where I went, but I wanted to.
You strap into this thing and literally you are flying over the water. I've never done one. I've seen them in Miami all the time. I'm doing that this year. What kids trip are you going to take your kids on? They've been bugging you about it for years. Are you finally going to go and commit and follow through on that trip?
I got a good one with kids. One of the things that we do with our kids, because of the sacrifices that we make, because our schedule is so busy, is we let our kids plan a vacation. So they all get together and they get on the internet and they decide where they want to go. It's always somewhere warm. And they pick the excursions, they pick when we're doing it. You guys, that's what's fun. Let your kids pick your vacations. Any parents like to have your kids do that? It's a cool thing. They love it.
What about a new peer group? I mean, one of the things that I personally am working on is aligning with other, very successful people. Because if you are the wealthiest and the most fun and the whatever you are in your peer group, I'm telling you guys, and I learned this through a lot of years of personal growth, and we say this all the time from stage, but the 5 people you hang out with the most are who you become. And you think it's fun if you're the smartest and you've got the best life and the best relationships in your peer group. That doesn't serve you. You need to find people that make more money than you, that are smarter than you, that have more, that do more, that give more. And you need to surround yourself with those people. So one of the things on my list is I'm not getting rid of the amazing friends that I have, but my goal is just to meet other people that can lift me up, that can change, that can break through my lid and help me become a better leader and a better person. So who are those people that you're going to meet, or where are you going to meet them? Write that stuff down. And guys, we are spending more time on this. This is probably the most important section of the day for all of you in this training.
Especially because you're going to leave here thinking that anything is possible. Because the purpose of you being here is to raise the belief in yourself and your decision and what we're doing and our cause and all that. So you're going to leave here thinking probably bigger than you've ever thought. And this is a first step in helping you, even dream bigger. So one of the cool things that I want, and this is crazy because I grew up in an environment. Does anybody have the rich grandma or the rich uncle that you could borrow money from? Okay, one person. I never had that person either. And one of the things I wanted to do was to provide for my family and take care of my family and leave a legacy for my family. And one of my goals was, and I'm not afraid to tell you this because I threw it out there, is I said I want to have $500,000 sitting in a bank account, liquid. And I'm going through, and we're building. We're just, changing people's lives and going. All of a sudden, Rhonda says, "Come here for a second." And I go, "What?" She goes, "Look at this." I'm like, "What is it?" And she showed me all this money. I'm like, "Well, what is that? Is that Ashley Sarnicola's bank account? What is that?" She goes, "Remember the goal you set?" And I go, "Yeah, there it is right there." Had no idea, you guys. We were just doing our thing, right? Anything is possible. Dream big.
And really quick, and we're almost in your new hobby, art. Any artists in the room? Do you guys want to see the Mona Lisa in person? What crazy thing are you going to do this year? Are you going to...
I want to kiss her.
Yeah. Just pretty hard to get to, actually. It's pretty crazy.
I want to try kissing her.
And you get there, you're like, oh. I'm just kidding. You're like, oh, wow, okay.
It's not that hot. Sorry. Serious now. Come on, serious.
What about six-pack abs? Honestly, right now, my challenge is, let me make sure I say this the right way. Well, I'm not changing it, but how do I say this? It's build a booty for his birthday. So right now, I'm building a butt for my husband's birthday. That's one of the gifts, is I'm going to try and put some inches on back here. And it's really hard for me. Plus I live in Miami too, so my vision is skewed of what butts can look like. I'm like, God, I want one like that. Well, wait a minute, that one's fake. No, I want one that's muscle that you have to work for, not just go in the doctor and leave for. I want a real one that you have to work for. So, what is that for you? And hey, if your goal is to have a surgery, I can't tell you guys, and they'll share with me, but they don't share with Nick, but they'll call me and be like, Ashley, my reason why is I really want to get a boob job. And I have girls tell me that all the time. Who cares? Nobody's judging you. If that's what fires you up, and that's your reason why, go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it. Quit judging yourself.
Sorry.
Right? Quit judging yourself. So how many of you guys have full pieces of paper right now?
Some of these people are like full, yeah?
All right.
How many felt that was kind of difficult? Be honest. It was kind of difficult to kind of keep thinking, okay, perfect, love it. We're growing.
All right, thanks, Pete.
All right, change goals here. Here's some of my goals, you guys. I'll run through these real quick. One of the things is I want to read a book a month, right? I want to read a book a month, but I also want to share it with my team. So I buy cases of books. Like if I read a good book, I'll go, okay, I'm going to buy 10 books. I'm going to buy 20 books, and I share it with my team. My house in Temecula, bam, there it is. Thank you. April 12th. It's going to be a great day. 10 to 12% body fat, you guys. One of my goals was Filipinos, we're kind of fluffy people. I mean, we kind of get soft around the edges. And so we always have this little inch of flubber or 2 inches of flubber. So one of my goals was at 47 years old was I was going to look like I was 22. And so got down to 10 to 12% body fat, which I dig. So is my wife.
Wait. Ladies and gentlemen, he just said he's 47 years old. Can we get a round of applause for that?
Okay, help 200 customers lose 10 pounds. That's kind of a big goal, but that's what I'm going to do this year. I'm going to help 200 people lose 10 pounds, speak fluent Spanish. I know you had that one at one time. Personal assistant. I want a personal assistant this year that guides me through everything. New wardrobe. Here's a cool one. Everybody knows I like clothes. I love clothes shopping. I love being in different parts of the world buying clothes, but what I want to do this year is I want to give it all away. I want to give my clothes away to my team so I can, and then I'll turn around and buy another new wardrobe. But I want to give all these clothes that are just, have no meaning anymore. I always want to give them away. And then I'm a soaring license. I want to learn how to do a soaring glider. I don't know if people know what soaring is, but I want to do that this year. It's crazy, right there in Temecula. There's a gliding area that I can learn how to do that. It's crazy.
So there's some of his personal goals, and here are a few more.
A few more, you guys. There's that, drink a gallon of water a day, $500,000 to make that type of thing. Where I'm going to visit, it's crazy because my wife just said we're going to Hawaii in May, which I had no idea, but now I'm looking at it on my goals, and she just told me today after talking to somebody in Hawaii, because we have a team there, I got to go, so I'm going.
Bummer.
Yeah, I always pick places that I want to go play and work on my tan. Okay, anyway, personal golf lessons. That's kind of a weird one because that just happened. I was going out to do a challenge party in Florida, and my golf coach saw my post in Florida and said, "Hey, we have a golf school going on that week. Why don't you come out?" So I got to spend the whole day playing golf. Got a golf lesson. Had no idea. That happened last Tuesday. Crazy thing. Write it down. Go next.
All right, a few of mine. 7-team rank goals. So I've got 7 teams that I'm personally responsible for. So Nick and I divide and conquer, which is a really cool thing if you're a couple. I know Tony and Rhonda just killed it in the couples training right before this. But find out what your strengths are. Mine is just going to just kill it wherever Nick tells me to go kill it. Right? I'm not like in the back office crunching numbers. It's not what I love to do. Complete estate planning. It's really important to me now that we have a little girl. It wasn't so important, but if Nick and I are both on an airplane, and she's at home and God forbid something happens, like we need to have a plan, So that's something that I'm driving the process for this year, that Nick's like, hey, you want to take this off my plate and put it on yours. Now I actually wrote this down, and a lot of people are thinking, gosh, well, wait a minute. Well, they're global. They're the top earners in the company. Well, what a lot of people, don't know is that the majority of what a lot of the top earners make, we reinvest back into our team. So what I can tell you is that I am not embarrassed at all to take a small chunk out of what we make. Nick and I pay ourselves out of what we make every month. And then if there's anything left at the end of the year, we divide that up between us. But my personal goal, and not with Nick, but Ashley earned $400,000 this year. And the way that I'm going to do that with the small percentage that we take out of what we make and we pay ourselves is I'm going to go out there and knock out my leadership challenge bonus. I think a lot of people don't put enough attention on that. I can tell you guys right now, if that's one of the major things you focus on, you're going to have a very financially successful year. And if you're brand new and you don't know exactly what leadership challenge bonus is, just go ahead and ask your upline. They can point out where you need to be focusing. I've never been to the south of France, Saint-Tropez and Cannes. I want to go to one of those film festivals one day. Amsterdam. I've never been to the Hamptons. Aspen. That actually happened about 4 weeks ago. I got to check off that goal. I love to snow ski. Nick hates it. You can have different goals in your spouse. That's okay. Nick had zero desire to go to Aspen, so I took one of my girlfriends who snowboards. I ski. We went and had a 2-day amazing time. So these little mini vacations. A lot of times in Vi, we don't say this from stage because we do promote a lifestyle from becoming financially successful. But Nick and I know Tony and Rhonda, we don't just disappear for 2 weeks. You know, if you are an aspiring leader or, you know, regional director or above, or you want to be, you've got to just take mini vacations. You can't just check out on your team for 2 weeks and then come back and expect everybody to be raring and ready to go. That's not the way that it works. Leaders are present. Weekly family Sabbath, this is important to me, where we literally just unplug. And it may look different every week. It may just be Nick and I going to lunch, and it may be Nick and me and Gia, you know, going to do something fun together, taking her to the museum, or, you know, to the little jungle area where she can watch the birds. It's just that little quality time that we carve out. Monthly mentoring. Something that I'm really inspired and excited about this year that I've been doing is some one-on-one mentoring. So, you know, grabbing some of these new up-and-coming leaders in the company, these superstars who are buried in depth underneath 3 5-stars and 2 3-stars, and grabbing these new people and latching onto them and mentoring them and running with them. Attending 2 personal growth seminars. We actually just attended one a couple of weeks ago, a Tony Robbins event, and you know, learned some crazy stuff about our life. Where you never make too much money to stop and go work on yourself. We can always improve. In fact, a lot of people believe that, you know, if you're out there in life and, you know, you're looking for significance, if that's the thing that drives you, that's not a life worth living. The only thing that can make you eternally happy in life is to grow. To grow. And a lot of you will believe that spiritually and, you know, relationally and in business, but I believe that in all fronts, that the only life that you can have that you'll be truly happy is a life that you're growing. So invest back in yourself when you're growing.
Yep, and so when I do my goals, you guys, I really put them in 3 categories. It's been something I've been doing for a long time, is I put all my life experiences, things I want to do with my life, into one, what I call my circle of my life. And I put all those things in there, so I had kind of them categorized. And then all my health goals, like, you know, how I want to eat and how I want to look and how many times a week I want to train, and my challenges I put in there. And then my prosperity piece is that piece where, okay, so now that I've got this type of income coming in, what are the things I'm doing with it, right? I'm investing in my team, I'm getting people to events, I'm investing in my self-development. Whatever that looks like, the prosperity piece, I'm donating meals to kids, whatever that is, I'm cultivating new relationships with maybe some nonprofits, whatever, so we can do more. That's the prosperity piece for me. It's not like, hey, look at me, I'm spending all my money, I'm happy. No, that's the prosperity piece for me. What are the things I'm doing now that I have some degree of success?
And you can do this like we started in the room. For those of you who are coming in late, there is no perfect way to do the goal setting. We are just giving you guys a guideline today. That's what Tony uses. He's visual. He wants to sit there when he's writing his goals down and look at a bubble that says life, health, prosperity. There's a lot of people that are visual in this room, and that helps him. That triggers things that he wants. I'm honestly a little bit nerdy. I have to have categories, and those categories change every year. But here are some of my categories. So what I do is I take all of those goals, like you guys just wrote down in your goal storm, and I dump them into these categories. And if there's a goal that doesn't have a category, that may mean that I need to make a new category for it. But I just try and condense them down until I have, you know, the minimal amount of categories that all those goals will fit into. And these are mine this year: marriage and family, my VI goals, financial goals, because, you know, you don't have to have money just coming from Visalis. You can have other investments and things that you're, you know, passionate about on the side. For a lot of people, and it's okay, their Visalis business and the money they make here feeds their real passion. Their other passion, they love helping people, but this feeds for them, you know, an ability to go out there and buy that guitar, or an ability to go out there and get those singing lessons, or anything like that that people love. You know, an ability to go take, you know, 1 week to learn from an artist, to learn, you know, how to paint. So that's okay too. Think about those things. Spiritual and giving, personal growth, stuff. It's okay to, you know, have a few things that are just stuff that you want: projects, fun, cultural, and travel. And, you know, this will obviously change. I know for Nick and I, another one of our categories is Gia. It didn't make that. It was under the family. But I specifically have a separate category. It's just Gia. It's just our daughter and everything that I want for her this year. You know, I want her to learn sign language. I want her to take the swim survival class. And so I had so many little things that I actually could just make a category for it. So whatever helps you keep organized, do that. Creating 2014, again, if you look at your daily habits, and I'm going to let Tony talk to this, because I can tell you guys that of pretty much anybody that I've met, we have a lot of amazing leaders here. If you look at his energy level and his daily habits, he has absolutely used those things to become massively successful. You know, he and Rhonda don't just wake up every day and go, all right, what's going to happen to us today? No, they have a system and a plan, and they go out there and they execute on daily habits and how important that is for your goals.
Yeah, so we've done the work, which is to get everything dumped, right? Get everything on a piece of paper, so we know exactly what we're going towards. The next thing is that X factors, those habits. What are you doing every single day? These are not the goals. These are what are you doing every single day? I must do blank to execute my top 10 goals. So whatever your top 10 things are, what are you doing on a daily basis? What are the action steps? Like, for example, if I was to learn, one of my goals was to learn how to fly a plane. What do you think something that I probably have to research in my area? What school? So we have to start doing those activities, right? That activity, it's getting close to that goal. So the next slide has some things that are kind of interesting.
Yeah, but before that, guys, I want to turn the music back on, and I want you guys to write down a couple of habits that you think will help you achieve those goals. So here's a sentence that Nick taught me that you have to ask yourself when you're writing down habits. I must do blank to become blank. Okay? So those blanks are your habits. So I must do blank, there's your habit, to get that goal you wrote down a few minutes ago. What must you do? That daily habit that you must do to get those things that you wrote down that you want earlier. Those financial goals, that trip with the kids, that art piece, that concert, that whatever it is. Now, keep storming through this process like we did earlier with your habits. And then we're going to divide those up into two categories.
Yeah, you're going to lose weight. I must do what in order to lose 10 pounds, yeah? I must choose to eat differently. I must do some research on, water and how good it is for body to help people lose weight. I must, you have to do something in order to obtain whatever your goal is, you guys. And these are little, tiny, easy things, right? You don't have to do it all in one fell swoop. It's not going to happen instantly, but you have to make little tiny actions in order to get you closer to your goal.
And a lot of times you'll notice as you're writing, these are usually verbs, aren't they? I mean, I'm not an English teacher, but doing is an action. So you must do blank to get that goal that you want. So some of you guys may have written down, raise your hand if you wrote down planning as one of yours, right? That's a habit. Communicating. Is communicating important in the business that we have? Absolutely. What about scheduling? Do you need to grow this year? You're going to go through some personal growth. You're going to reading, learning. What about if you want to hit that new rank? Do you think you're going to have to do some recruiting? What are some other verbs?
Calling.
Promoting.
Challenging.
That's probably the best one yet.
I like that one.
Strategizing. Tracking.
Mentoring.
Keep writing, guys. You have to do blank to get those things from your goal list. You're going to have to do this. If you don't do this, you're not going to get those goals. You're not going to get those things. What is it that you have to do? Bottom line, you're starting today. This is it. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. Today I'm going to implement this as a daily habit. And it is, write that down. Whatever you just thought of, that's going to help you. It's going to help you get those things that you want from your goal list. Recognizing. Launching. Running. Emulating, studying. I mean, there's so many things that you guys only know what you had written down on this goal list. Whatever those are, you're going to have to do something to get them. All right, thanks, Pete. So now that you have those, I want you guys to circle your top 3. If I do these 3 habits every single day, and I just commit right now to do these every day for 2 weeks, do you guys know what's going to happen if you commit to do these habits 2 weeks? It's going to get easier and easier and easier. It's going to become the normal thing that you do every day. It's just normal. I recruit every day because that's a daily habit that I must have if I'm going to hit national director. okay? Every day, I've got to strategize. I've got to call the team and who's running who and what rank are you running to? How are we going to get there, right? What challenge parties do you have? Scheduling. So circle those 3 habits that you have to do every single day, come hell or high water, bad weather, good weather, crazy thing, a kid falls, something happens outside that you can't control, a dog bark, it doesn't matter, right? You injure, it doesn't matter. What do you have to do every single day, no matter all the distractions that are coming your way in life? Your job, there's all kinds of things that are going to be in the way, but no matter what, you're committed to these 3 things to help get you the life that you want.
And one of the things, when we started doing this back in the day, one of my mentors is Nick. What Nick's able to do, the amount of time he's able to do it in, I'd always ask myself all the time these words: what would Nick Sarnicola do? And the second I would ask myself that, it was something action, it was a verb, I can guarantee you it was a verb, right? So ask yourself a question. Hey, what would the Royal Ambassador be doing right now? Those are good words to help you.
Here are some of mine and Tony's personal habits. I read every single day. Inner circle quality times with the people that I'm running, and also my friends and my family, and Gia with her grandparents. I've now learned that they will guilt trip you to death if you don't start focusing on that. So I've had to add that one into my personal habits. Read Bible, watch Andy Stanley online. Usually on the weekends, it's our prime time for work because everybody else is off of work, and most people who are in by Salis are part-time. That's not just our company, that's in our industry as a whole. So in the weekends is our prime time. So if I'm traveling and don't get to go to church, I watch Andy Stanley online. Schedule training appointments for each city. Tracking my monthly earnings. Constant communication with our personal assistant and our nanny to make sure we're all on the same page. Who's traveling where, what flights booked, what flights not booked. Do we have everything we need for Gia? Do we have to go get this or that? Driving, estate planning, and appointments. This is just my personal research and comparing options. We had to go in Miami and get a separate business office outside of our home because all this mail was coming and for tax reasons. So, I've got to help stay on top of that while Nick stays on top of not just, leading our business because people know he's a promoter, but also, his corporate hat. So he's got a lot of different hats. So I have to do a lot of the family stuff. And this is some of Tony's personal habits.
Mine are, again, laid out just a little bit differently, but these are my personal things that I have to, these are everyday things. These are personal habits that happen every single day. It's part of who I am. My personal time. I call it my Tony time. Right? I call the time that it's my decompression time. It's the time that I check in, check my attitude, do those personal development things. It's the quiet time, usually in the morning, first thing in the morning. My wife usually sleeps in a little bit later than I do. I'm up earlier, so that's the time I have my quiet time, and I identify what I call my A1 priorities, the things that absolutely, positively have to be done that day, no matter what. They're absolutely have to be done that day, so identify those. I always will exercise, always will take care of the temple, always make sure that I'm nourishing my body because it's the most important thing I can do for myself and the responsibility that I have. And then obviously my family, I'm always aware of, okay, what are we doing with the family, those types of things. This is what I do every day. These little, these 5 little things here is what makes me who I am.
Some business habits of ours. Game planning at the first of every month. How many of you guys know that's important, right? Starting off your month. Who's running who. And I just put these together because I'm on a million calls every day, but most of them are challenge party closeouts, welcome calls, or rally calls. Personal recruiting, launching event promos 2 weeks before the date. This is something that I'm working on this year. We're sharing our personal stuff with you right from our book here. I was really bad last year at making sure that before I went to a market, there was some promo. And guys, if you're a regional, it doesn't matter what rank you are. You can call the new market that you're in and say, okay, if 4 new people sign up by this date, I'm coming out there, I'm flying out there. You can do smaller versions of this, right? Have them go hit a goal in order for you to come out. Don't just enroll one person and say, all right, I'm getting on an $800 flight and we're gonna make it work. No, okay, I'm gonna help you through the phone, enroll you plus 5 people, then I'm coming out. So this is something that I had to work on, Hey, if these 5 people, if 2 of them hit Rising Star, I'm taking them to a private dinner to sit down with us for an hour at a great restaurant. So these little things. Celebrating rank and writing personal letters. See, Nick and I aren't necessarily motivated by recognition at all. So most people are. So I realized that I'm not doing that as much as I should and as well as I could, because that's not what motivates me. But it's not about me. It's about what drives my team and what excites them and what makes them feel special. Because I have so much love, but I don't always tell them that I'm a better writer. So Nick and I decided that this year I'm going to write personal letters to the people in our team, and just tell them, hey, when you hit that rank, you had to overcome this and sacrifice this, and how proud I am of you. So these little things like that, guys, in your own life, what are those habits, those personal and business habits? Now that you all have them written down, divide them into those two categories: mentee fly-ins, posting video blogs to our power couple, because we don't want to just inspire the people in Visalis. There's a whole lot of people in the industry who are inspired by the leaders of this company, and they want to find out what it is that these crazy Visalians are doing, and we want to have an impact that's greater than just our community. So those little things are things that I have to do as a business and personal habits.
And really quickly on mine, you guys, my business habits that I do, you can see up there, I always connect my leaders, my team. I'm always looking to develop new people. That's the business that we're in the development of people. Brand development was something I really got hold of a couple years ago, was branding this thing called Mojo, and so everything I do has Mojo attached to it. Social media, I'm always aware about my social media and what I'm putting out there and making sure that I'm staying on top of that. Always forcing the calendar. Learn some Ryan Blair. Force calendar, force calendar, force calendar. You have an empty calendar, you have an empty paycheck, you got a full calendar, guess what your paycheck does? So do that. Time management is a big thing. As you guys start moving and grooving, you've got downlines of 10, 15,000 people. Time management is something I focus every single day on. And the last one is SOU, sense of urgency. Everything that I freaking do, everything has a purpose, and I do it with a sense of urgency. And that is what people like to see. People like to see somebody moving and shaking. So I always make sure that I'm in alignment with that when I do something, there's a reason for it, and I'm doing it with a sense of urgency, because I'm trying to move the needle, you guys. I'm trying to change lives, and I can't do that sitting behind a screen playing on Facebook.
One of the last topics, guys, we're coming to a close here, but this is really important, are your values, okay? So we talked about your habits. Now we're talking about your values. Your values actually are what shape those decisions. Guiding force of you, it's who you are being. Now this is the question you have to ask yourself to find out what your key values are. I must be blank. It's not a verb. I must be blank to achieve my top 10 goals. I must be blank to achieve those top 10 goals. And from your goal storm, you guys have those top 10 and what they are. Tony, shout out some of your personal values to jog the memory here.
Yeah, here's mine, you guys. Number one, I must be fun. Everything that I do has to be fun. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. So these are my values. I'm going to be grateful. Gratitude is something that I've incorporated, in the last 4 or 5 years of my life. Like, be really grateful for the opportunity that we have. My other value is to stay focused. I'm organized. That's a big thing that I work on all the time. I desire to be more organized. My wife helps me through that. She laughs at me during the process. But the reality is, I'm attempting to become more organized. I have to have balance in my life. Balance is one of my top values. I have to make sure that everything I do has balance. I must keep it simple. I am not the smartest tool in the shed. I must keep it simple. I said that wrong. I am not the sharpest tool in the shed. See what I'm saying? See? None of y'all got that, but I am not the sharpest tool. So I have to keep things simple. Every conversation, I have to keep it simple, because I know people will watch me. Do things with passion, discipline. I must be disciplined, must stay committed to my decision. You guys, I want to see this to the end, whatever that is, and I am learning patience, becoming more patient with people and myself. These are my top values, guys. This is Mojo right there. This is Tony Lucero right there. Every day, that's what I aspire to be.
There you go. And he must be these things in order to achieve those top 10 goals that he has for he and his family this year. And these are some of his most valued.
Yep, my vice spirit, you guys, all that great stuff.
Discipline and organization. It's pretty funny. When Nick and I did our goals separately, when we looked at our values, by the way, your values, if you have a significant other in this room, your values, they really are very, very important. You've got to look at your top 5 as a couple. You really want to, talk through your values, because it's important that a few of your values match. If you are in, a relationship with someone else, your values need to have a lot in common, because those are what drive your entire life and every decision that you make. And so your values have to be similar. It was crazy. Nick and I met up after our goals, and our number 1 was both the exact same this year: discipline. We have to have discipline if we're gonna, take this company from where we are, to being the next Amway, the fun version that everybody on earth wants to be a part of. If we're gonna do that, we have to have more discipline and we have to raise our lid. What do you have to do this year? And guys, we're coming to a close here. Goals plus habits plus values times emotion. That is one that we left out. Because you can have all these things and I know after that workshop exactly what my goals are, and I know my values and my habits, and I'm going to do them every day. But if you do them and you're walking around like this and you're not passionate about life and you're not excited to wake up and you're the one that's always complaining and you're negative about this and you're a victim here because somebody said that and somebody in the team did that and can you believe that on Facebook? You've got to be a person that lives in positive emotion. It is a proven fact that if you know what you want and you can apply these new habits that you now have to go and get it, and these values of who you must be, and you can mix all that up with a little bit of positivity and emotion, put a smile on your face, quit telling yourself the old sad story because you're going to create a new story after attending this breakout today. You will have a new life. It is a given. I promise you guys, we are so fired up that you really took time to spend an hour on yourself today. Because life is crazy and life is busy and so many times we don't carve that out. How many of you feel like these guidelines and this process of creating your life was helpful for you today and you know that you're going to achieve those top 10 goals that you set for yourself in 2014?